Welcome to Fullerton College Baseball on SportsNetUSA.net. Hey, I'm Mark Pavlovich, along with my partner Ryan Osborne today, and Joseph Pavlenko. We're bringing you another exciting home community college baseball game here from Fullerton College today. Well, the last time I was out here, the Hornet team looked like a different team altogether. They came out fast, they came out quick. They showed us power and a lot of grit on the mound. It looked like that's how the outcome was going to end. And then slippage happened, and the Hornets once again didn't quite make it to the end of 9 innings. They're 0-6 at home, and they're still searching for that home victory here on their field, Ryan Osborne, and that's the big thing you want to look at with this Hornet team. Most people feel comfortable at home. So far, they've just come short on their home field.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Mark. When you look at it, you talked about that last game for Fullerton College. At one point, they held a 6-run lead at 8-2 in the 7th inning, and then all of a sudden, a 9-run, 2-inning stretch that they saw scored against them, and everything went away. And then you look at those final 2 frames as well, where Fullerton was trying to get back into it, down in the 8th, down in the 9th. They were able to get one back, but just weren't able to convert when they had runners in scoring position and an opportunity to tie. You also have to look at the 2 opportunities they had early in the game. Bases loaded, 1 out, runners at 2nd and 3rd, no outs, neither of which they scored on, and it ended up haunting them.
Yeah, but when you score a gaggle of runs, you should win the game.
You should.
And it just didn't happen. Let's look at the first 3 up and the lineups here for both teams today. But the first 3 up for Golden West, the Rustlers. Arduino, Galena, and then we have Andabolgi is how we're saying his name. We'll see if that's correct as the game goes on. Arduino is going to start it off. Arduino, I should say.
When you look at that game last Thursday, Mark, the big thing for Fullerton in the first 6 innings is that their pitching was able to get ahead of counts, and it helped them a lot. They were able to get a lot of 0-1, 0-2 counts to start off. If they get behind, it hurts them very quickly.
You'll notice on your screen, and Ryan Osborne brings this up a lot, you look at where Arduino is lining up. Ryan, he's right at the front of the batter's box, trying to take away any breaking balls that are thrown at him. Fouls that one off. 1-2's the count.
And like you mentioned, Mark, it takes away the break. It also gives you a better opportunity if you have more of a breaking ball type pitcher. When that fastball comes up on you, you're able to get around on it quicker.
1-2, just starting off the game. We're glad you're with us today here on SportsNetUSA.net. High and away, Ryan, they always call that a waste pitch. I've never understood a waste pitch in baseball.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a waste pitch. Why? Because you're trying to see what the batter's tendency is. You go high and away, you're trying to see if he'll actually chase something like that. It sets you up for later in the game, too.
2-2. Off speed, just fouled away there.
And that pitch right there goes exactly to what you're talking about, Mark. Because it's not a waste pitch on that previous one, because that's the exact same location. This time he goes after it.
And it's interesting to watch a starting pitcher start from the stretch, as you see with the Hornets. Off the plate, full count, start the game. And that's really a preference to a pitcher being comfortable on what they do. Take a full windup, take that stretch.
A lot of it has to do with timing.
Fouled away again. More you see, the better it is for you as a hitter. Arduino batting 219. On base percentage of 419 as a leadoff hitter. And that percentage goes up as he works his way on base. A really good at bat for the leadoff hitter for Golden West College.
It gives them a chance behind him to be able to look at all the pitches that Paschal has to offer from the mound. Because now you're also looking at what are his tendencies at a 2-2 count. What's he looking at when he's ahead in a count? Well, the batter right behind him and the next one on deck as well is able to look and say, okay, well, on an 0-2 count, he went with a high fastball away to see if I'll chase. Well, if I see that in my at-bat, I won't chase after it because I know that's where he's going to go to direct pitch after pitch.
Galena now up. Galena takes the first pitch for a strike on the outside. So two different approaches with left-handed batters. The first one gets up there, goes to the front of the box, puts his lead foot right on the chalk. Then you have the second left-handed hitter come up, open stance, but he's going to stride into the pitcher on his swing.
And Mark, that's the difference. You just mentioned it, an open stance. For Galena, as an open stance batter, he's able to move back in the box because he's got two eyes on when the pitch is coming in, since his body is open to the pitcher's mound. If you have a closed stance, you can go up in the box, take away that breaking pitch. But as a two-eyed batter, open stance batter, you can go further back because you're able to see that pitch with both eyes and coordinate it better.
0-2 count on Galena. Runner at first, nobody out, top of the first. Taking the other direction. Ryan, I got to ask you about Galena too, because I'm watching him do a couple toe taps. So is that a timing mechanism on him?
It is. And it's also, some batters will say, it's a way to keep engaged while the pitcher is trying to throw off your timing. So you're more focused on what you're doing in the batter's box and just waiting for the release point rather than waiting on a specific timed pitch from the mound.
0-2 count. Galena takes it the opposite direction one more time. So both the first two batters for Golden West College have got to see a great deal of pitches. You've already brought that up. That helps everybody else that's getting ready to come up behind them. And Bolgi is on deck. Throw back over to first, not in time. No breeze really blowing out here. 340 down the right field line, 334 down the left field line, 366 in the left field alley, 373 in the right field alley, and then a long ways away, 405 to dead center. Taken up the middle, base hit, and a turn, just a real beautiful running play by Arduino. Ryan, he never stopped at second. He was bound for third.
As soon as he took his initial leadoff from first base, he saw contact and he was going all the way. Because, Mark, even though that ball hadn't yet left the infield, he was making that round at second. See, normally in that situation, you see a guy who will run in towards the second base bag thinking, okay, I've got to break up this double play. Instead, he's rounding already, expecting it to get through and fully selling for third base even before it leaves the infield.
So runners at the corner, nobody out here in the top of the first for the Rustlers. Breaking ball catches the inside part of the plate. On the Volgi. Cole's batting 188 this season. Just misses on the outside. Batting 188, on base percentage of 350, a slugging percentage of 500. when you look at what he's doing so far for the Rustlers. Runners at the corner. Taking up the middle. Nice little flip. And for those of you at home, well, that was just a patented 4 to 6 to 3 double play by the Hornets. Let's set that defense for the Hornets. Kay is behind the plate. So Ryan, I want to make sure I get this name right.
Tellez.
I wanted to do that. Brock Denbo at second. Jimmy Blunberg at short. Jacob McClure at third. Dominic Martinez in left. Elias Rios in center. And Matt Darr in right. Brings Boyd, who's playing right field for Golden West College today, up to the plate. So a run scores on that double play ball, no RBI. So the Hornets get 2, give up 1 here in the top of the first inning. Outfield playing straight away for the Hornets today. Martinez in left, Rios in center, Darr in right. Normal depth. Pitch on the outside corner. You look at these two teams, Ryan, too, which I guess they sort of mirror each other with the struggles they've had this year.
About 200 feet, yeah.
Big swing for a miss.
The thing with both of these two teams is that they've had problems getting ahead early in games. And they've continually had to chase. Now here for Golden West, they've kind of flipped that table. And they get an early run. It's not something they've had very often.
And it's something the Hornets have found themselves in the position of being behind early. The last time I was out here, they got ahead early. Looked like they were going to run away with it early. So hit by a pitch right on the elbow.
You know what's interesting, Mark? You brought a bat from the parking lot earlier today here into the press box. And I was looking at the handle and realized that is one of the thinnest handles I've ever seen. So then I started looking at the guys in the batter's box while they were taking batting practice, and I realized the bats made nowadays are a lot thinner than you would have back when even I was playing in high school ball. And that's, you know, it's 7 years ago at max. You're looking at these modern bats that have all the technology going from the barrel on. And the handles, they just have to kind of figure it out. It's almost as if each bat ends up being custom made to yourself. So if you buy your bat, the handle's a lot thinner, so that way you can custom tape it yourself according to your liking.
That's what I was going to ask you, because, you know, just like in hockey, everybody tapes their sticks. In baseball, everybody tapes their sticks now. Runner goes, no throw. Great jump from first, and there's no possibility to get him at second, so.
An excellent jump and the right pitch to go on, too. It's a breaking ball down the middle, so by the time that K ends up making the catch, he doesn't have a chance to toss it over to second.
So Boyd gets a stolen base. One run in already for the Rustlers. Off speed. Hornets would like to be in the same position that their counterparts are in softball. Softball's having an outrageous year this year. Right down the middle. caught looking, but not before Golden West gets on the board. 1 run on 1 hit, 1 left on base as we head to the bottom of the first. It's the Rustlers 1, the Hornets 0 here on Sportsnet USA.net. Let's look at how we start this game off for the Hornets. Martinez, who's playing in left field, has started off. Rios playing in center is batting second, and Dar playing in right. So it's the outfield looking to start things off for the Hornets here. Then we go to McClure, who's playing at third, and then Landon, if we get that far, will be the next one up. Defensively, Andavolgi is catching. Logan Galena is over at first for Golden West. Parmenter is playing at second. Casas is over at short. McGran is over at third. Boyd's in right. Orduno is in center. And as far as we're concerned, we think it's Hughes. Samuel Hughes is over in left. That's your lineups and how things are going. Ryan, you mentally, you've been a baseball team that's struggled all year. You've looked good. We've talked to players too many times and said, good game. You played really well. You just came up short. Well, what do you do here mentally as a player? I mean, doesn't it start weighing on you?
It does start weighing on you, but the thing is that, honestly, Mark, the best way to make sure that it doesn't is to make sure that you stay aggressive in games. And you always hear from coaches, oh, we just got to do what we do well, play our game, and we should be just fine. I think with the Hornets, it means something a little different. For Fullerton, if you get on base, you've got to run. You've got to create chaos. You have to control the game on the base paths. Why? Because every time that you do that, you're finding yourself with a lot of success. We've seen it in the last 3 games straight here at home, where Fullerton, when they run, they have success. When they stop running, like we saw on Thursday, after the 6th inning, they stopped sending their runners. They stopped being aggressive on the base paths, and all of a sudden you saw them get into a hole and they couldn't get back out. So if you're Fullerton, the way that you make sure that it doesn't weigh on you is to make sure that you run without abandon. Control the game without being in the batter's box.
So we'll see if they take that advice from Ryan Osborne. We're straight up the middle. So Ryan, we're going to start it off and see what happens with Martinez taking it back up the middle for a base hit. Runner at first, nobody out, 1-0, Golden West College. It's a great day for baseball. Rios now comes up. And we'll see if the advice from Ryan Osborne gets over to the bench. Down and away, and a nice break on a ball. I'm not going to call that a wild pitch. I'm going to call that a pass ball on the catcher.
I say that's a pass ball as well, Mark, because that hits the back half of the plate, which should, in theory, stay at your chest. Instead, he doesn't get his entire body behind it, and it flicks away from him.
So runner in scoring position with a pass ball. That's a pass ball, not a wild pitch. Another curveball off the plate.
You're looking at these breaking balls that are coming in. They have a lot of kick to them. What I mean by that is it's a very late action. So once it gets to about 2 to 3 feet beyond the plate, that's when it really starts to curve downwards. Normally you're going to see more of an up and down type curveball. Instead, from him on the mound, it's a lot of late action to it.
Turner starting off with an ERA of 8.31, Ryan, and you look at it, he's got 10 strikeouts, 7 walks, so basically it's a 1-to-1 ratio out there on the mound for Turner today. Once again, you find that breaking ball. As a catcher, I'm going to go back to a sport you love. I mean, you know he's going to throw a lot of breaking balls. You have to be extremely active behind the plate right now just to stop that breaking ball.
And what you were going to, Mark, it's kind of like a goalie in hockey. But the thing is that like a goalie in hockey, you have to, quote, make yourself as big as possible. So by that, and I'll get to it after this pitch, you've got to be able to angle yourself to keep it in front of you.
2-2 comes inside off the plate.
And how you do that is you square yourself up to the pitch, you angle your chest forward. The top of your chest comes forward, your stomach goes back a little bit, so that way if it hits your chest, it's bouncing straight down. If you lean back slightly, it's going to glance off of you and go behind you or to the side. You got to make yourself as big as possible, bring your chest forward and over top of the plate so it stays in front.
So we'll see if that's what they do behind the plate today. Breaking ball, got him, strike 3. So you know what the money pitch is right now for Turner on the mound for Golden West College. Matt Darr's coming up. So Ryan, you played this game. You've already seen a guy that has tried to get people out of the way with a breaking ball. So now as a hitter, do I look for the breaking ball or do I wait for my fastball that I can drive?
Honestly, the first thing I would do is step up in the batter's box to take away that break from him. And then you can look for the breaking ball because at that point it's not breaking as much as it should.
And what do? Turner comes with a breaking ball.
If you sit in the back of the batter's box with a guy who throws a breaking ball this well, you're going to leave yourself at the mercy of his pitch. If you go to the front of the batter's box, you can attack it.
So we'll see if the Hornets change their hitting strategy just a little, just slightly. Ooh, up and tight. And I like that Matt was going to squirt a bunt because one of the easier things to do, you can take a breaking pitch, you get your bat on it, it's going down anyway. It's going to deaden the reflect of the bat, and you possibly have a base hit. But you know the worst case scenario is you move the runner to third base. 0-2 the count. Runner at second, down by 1 here in the first inning. Check the runner. Breaking pitch again for strike 3. So, Ryan, we have seen it twice now. Yeah, I'm sort of like you too. We heard it from our left that the catcher dropped the ball. The umpire must not have thought so.
Because there was an open base too.
Yeah, he can advance.
So he legally could have advanced.
He can legally advance as long as the base is not occupied. If you swing and it's missed by the catcher, you can, as the batter, advance. First pitch is high and tight. We had people sitting next to us thought that the catcher did not cleanly field the ball, but nobody argued in the Hornet dugout. So McClure up now.
They appealed down to second. Yeah. So it should be 0-2. Yeah, so it's 0-2.
So the count's 0-2. Runner at second. Quickly open up the inning with a runner in scoring position. He advances on a pass ball. And what do you do if you're Turner? You come back and strike out the side. Well, for the Hornets, they get 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. At the end of 1 inning completed, it's the Rustlers 1, the Hornets 0 here on SportsNetUSA.net.
Mark, we've got some scores from around the state of California. Up in the northern end of California, College of the Sequoias is currently tied with Reedley at 1 in the top half of the second. Everything else is here in Southern California. Saddleback and Irvine Valley College, no score at OC Great Park. They're in the bottom of the second there. And in the bottom of the second as well, Orange Coast and Mount Sac. No score between the Mounties and the Pirates. And rounding out the Southern California scoreboard, It's Cypress and Santa Ana in the top half of the second, with Cypress visiting the Dons, and Santa Ana leads it 1-0.
You know, we always hear every once in a while when we step on campus, the man, the myth, the legend. Well, I always thought that was me. But did you know there's already a Pavlovich in the Hall of Fame of the CCCAA and the National Hall of Fame for community college baseball? That's Lou Pavlovich Jr. No, he's no relation to me, except anybody who's got the last name Pavlovich, we know is talented, especially when it comes to baseball or softball and even football here on SportsNetUSA.net. But he was a senior writer and photographer who used to cover the College World Series. He also is the editor for Collegiate Baseball, the voice of amateur baseball. That's Lou Pavlovich Jr. Anybody says hi, Lou, to me, I'm just going to wave back to him as we go on this season. The Rustlers up by 1. Lepanier now comes up, the designated hitter. A plethora of lefties on this Golden West team. Checks the swing. Looks over, talks to the umpire, says, should I swing? He said, I called it a strike. 3 left-handed hitters, 3 completely different stances so far. Outside, a lot of pop on the ball. Corners at normal depth defensively for the Hornets. Hit right there, just missed for a base hit, so he pulls it. And Ryan, another lefty that gets him back. Almost a throw behind him to get him out. And if it's fielded cleanly, they might have to tag at first base.
They would have had him by a good 4 to 5 feet, too, because he makes that round. And, Mark, what you see too often from college baseball players is that they make the round, they kind of do a loop around first base, and their eye completely comes away from the ball as they're taking a look and celebrating with the dugout. Then they walk it back to first. That's exactly what happens here. He's looking at the dugout, motioning to the dugout, and with that back throw, again, if it's fielded by Tellez cleanly, they have him at first dead to rights.
So Hughes comes up. He's playing left field for Golden West. Runner goes, hits it the opposite direction, and Ryan, there's the use of the run. A break off of first base where if a pitcher steps back off the mound, he's got the runner. Does not, allows him to go. And then you have your shortstop for the Hornets breaking. Jimmy's heading for second. The ball's hit behind him. And now you got runners at the corner.
But you like that hitting there, Mark, because he sees where everyone's going to be shifting over defensively. He sees that Bloomberg is going to cheat up towards second base slightly to try and check on the runner. So what does he do? He does exactly what you've been talking about for years now. If you see someone cheating up the middle or slightly shifting over to the right as a left-handed hitter, slap it to the left side and get yourself on base. There he moves the runner not only once, but twice.
So runners at the corner. McGran squares. Takes it for a strike. Back-to-back hits in this inning. 3 for the game so far for the Rustlers, trying to answer. Off the plate. Hornets had a chance to tie it in the bottom of the first. The Rustlers' answer is, well, if we're only up by 1, we need to add some runs to it. They're trying to do that here in the top of the second. See if the runner from first goes on a pitch. Goes back. Hornets sort of thought he was.
And if I'm Golden West College, I absolutely send that runner and also creep down the third base runner to try and see if you can get Carter Kay to throw down to second.
Well, especially when McClure so far off a third. Ball's in the dirt. Nice little dig there by Carter Kay.
And he does what you and I were talking about earlier. Get yourself behind where that ball is going to bounce. It doesn't matter if it's a breaking ball or a fastball. Get yourself to the point of contact and angle yourself forward so that way you can keep yourself and your body in front of it.
2-1. Hit the opposite direction, and twice now they have gone the other direction, coming up to the plate and score another run.
What you saw there, Mark, is he just reached out with the bat and sent it out towards left. Didn't try and pull it like you were talking about last game where you get out in front of it, you end up bouncing it down the first base line into an out. Instead, he just reaches the bat head out there and drops it.
So another run for Golden West as Parmenter comes up now, playing second base for the Rustlers today.
Parmenter, one of those guys that you're seeing more and more now as they're going back to the old school no gloves.
And of course, we'll get to the glove story if nobody knows how gloves were used in the game of baseball. Parmenter drops it down. Nice little bunt. Great sacrifice to move the runners.
And just what you were talking about earlier, Mark. If you know you have a pitcher on the mound who loves to go to that breaking ball, what you do, that ball is already on its way down. Use its momentum with it, put the barrel on the ball, and just hit it right over top, and it's going to deaden enough for you to get the runners over.
Arduino comes up, walked to start off this game, so they batted around already. Going to the second here for the Rustlers. Just off the outside part of the plate. Hornets looking for the call, can't get it. Down by 2 so far. Two runs, 4 hits. No errors for Golden West. Taking the other direction. Golden West in their green jerseys, white lettering with gold piping around the lettering, a little gold piping on the sleeves, gray pants. And so far, the only one showing stockings over there, I think, is the manager for Golden West College. Taken back up the middle. 1 run in. 2 runs in. And so they go back up the middle with that one, Ryan Osborne, and open up a 4-0 lead. The left-handers have been productive for Golden West in this game. Galena comes up. He started the game off with a hit, and we're going to have a conversation on the mound. We brought up batting gloves for those of you that could be a little younger and don't know where batting gloves come from. I've got a couple next to me. Batting gloves came from Ken Harrelson, the Hawk that played for the Boston Red Sox. He was out playing golf one day. When he got done playing golf, he came back in, and he actually came from the golf course to the field, had his glove on. Talked to somebody about why he plays golf with a glove on and how it makes his hand feel better, and decided to take that golf club and use it when he came to bat. He was the first one ever to wear a glove. That started a trend, and now it's very rarely do you see anybody play the game of baseball without using a batting glove, all started by Ken Harrelson, the Hawk from the Boston Red Sox. Almost at first, and Ryan, I thought it was there. It was a beautiful throw, and the tag was just that motion sweep to get the runner.
Well, what you like from Paschal is the fact that he led into the tag. A lot of pitchers, you'll see them just toss it over chest level. Instead, he goes right to the bag, so all you have to do is just make that catch in a sweeping motion, and it's there.
4-0. Back again, trying to keep the runner there. And the thing that's interesting today, Ryan Osborne said, run, run, run. Well, the team in green is taking it as advice, and in taking his advice, they're up by 4. 1 out, 3 runs in here for Golden West. Try to get the runner again, back in time. Four big hits for Golden West in this inning. You wonder if there's getting somebody up. Down low. Hornets in their blue jerseys today, white slacks. Some people showing off their leggings out there, Ryan.
See, Mark, I'm partial to the old stirrup and sanitary look. Like out in left field, Dominic Martinez or Elias Rios out in center. Sure, the solid sock is nice, but when you can complete the stirrups, it looks even better.
Ryan Osborne going old school on me today.
See, Mark, if we really want to be fancy, if you pair those navy blue stirrups with gold sannies.
That would be nice. That would be nice. Match the numerals and the script on the front of the jersey. 2-0, 1 out. Down in the dirt, the runner broke on it. They should have him on a missed opportunity as the runner started, stopped, stuttered, and went, which we think all runners should do. They had him out at second base. If you don't field it, you can't take somebody out.
You look at Bloomberg over at short, Mark, and you could see it from here. His glove is there. The ball is in the exact spot where he places his glove. He takes one peek at where the runner is, and at that precise moment, that's when the ball hits it. It heels off and goes in towards right center, or in towards right field.
Now, I know there's a sense of kindness from the SID here.
I would absolutely give that an error over at second because he should have had him.
Taken down, left field line. Back on it was Martinez. Nice throw over to third. A little off the bag so the runner advances on it. So Andavolgi gets up there now, Ryan, with a runner in scoring position. But here's that position again as we get timeout. And we'll see where it's going to, as we are going to get a pitching change in this game. So Andavolgi comes up with a runner at third as we are quickly getting a change here at the bottom of the second.
And it seems, Mark, like this is where the Hornets are continually getting into trouble over the last 2 weeks or so, is preventing that big inning. And it looks like it's going to be Barnett who comes in.
When you look at the overall staff's ERA at 7.66, they've got a fielding percentage of .936. So here in the bottom of the second, the Hornets change things up, bring out a relief pitcher. We'll see if they can shut the door on Golden West College.
Around the state of California, College of the Sequoias has now taken a 2-run lead at 3-1 over Reedley in the top of the third. In Southern California, Saddleback and Irvine Valley College, they are at OC Gray Park. They're in the top of the third. Irvine Valley with a 1-0 lead. Santa Ana has doubled their lead. They're now up 2-0 over Cypress in the top of the third there. And Mount Sac, another 4-0 game, as Joseph Pavlenko points out. They are up 4-0 over Orange Coast.
Well, you brought up one of the teams. So, Ryan Osborne, do you happen to know who the all-time leader in victories is here in California for community college baseball as a manager?
Would that be one of the Pickler brothers?
No. But you did mention the college he used to coach at.
Was it Cypress?
Santa Ana College.
Ah. Oh, okay.
Don Sneeden.
Don Sneeden.
Who had a career of 1,072 victories, 383 losses, and 3 ties. He broke the record actually in 2006, and when he did retire in 2014, now if somebody's caught him, it hasn't been updated. But at the time, boy, I tell you, that's a winning record for you.
If I'm not mistaken math-wise, that's, what, around a 680?
About that, yeah. We'll give that to you just because where you went to college at.
The correct college.
Well, you know, it could be, yours could be classified as a baseball college where you went to school at.
That's true.
Because of the gentleman that
There's a connection with the head coach here at Fullerton College as well.
that there is.
And also the assistant coach as well, Hank Lafort. You know, at one point, he broke the record for Cal State Fullerton consecutive on base.
Which was?
Which was, I believe the previous record was around 40-41, and he had a 65-game on base streak.
Wow. Wow. Ball's down in the dirt with a runner at third. And really, when you think about it, I mean, that's a prolific baseball school. It always has been. It's always in the top 25 for the rankings for college baseball. Deep into the hole, backhanded, set that back leg by Blumberg, throw not in time. Tough play to make off the mark. And we've got an E6.
You would go E6? I would go E3. I think that throw is on line and there, but I think that Tellez misses it.
So Ryan Osborne gives it an E3. I give it an E6 because not only do I give it because of the throw, but there's sometimes you eat the baseball. Incredibly hard play to make. You throw it, you pull your first baseman off the bag.
See, the reason why I give it an E3 is because Tellez is there. His glove is there. However, he tries to swipe down towards the ball in an effort to stretch out and make the play. When he swipes down,
hits the line, another run will come in. Oh, held at third. I thought he was going to score, but another base hit.
Mark, you saw the wicked hop it took over at second base. It looked like James was going to be there in time, and then it just kicks right off the dirt over top of him.
Well, you look at the play on that, and it's one of those things where you just look to make a play and you can't make it. Nice little slurve right out there on the outside of the plate. 5-0. Runner goes. No throw to second.
Okay, Mark, in the game of softball, in that same situation, what you'll see normally is a shortstop acts like he's going to second. Instead, he goes about a third the way towards the pitcher. They throw down but towards the shortstop to try and catch the runner at third leaning. I'm surprised you don't see it a lot more here.
Rios goes back, and can't pull it in. So a big stand-up double. Two more runs.
And you saw for Rios, Mark, he's shaded in the correct direction out into right center field. The problem is that he overruns the ball over to the right.
Well, it's tough when you go back. You've talked about it before where an outfielder take his eye on the ball, find the spot he wants to go, then turn around and relocate the ball. When he was running that time, he was trying to keep his eye on the ball the entire time, which gives you a tendency to lean when you're running sideways. 7 hits now for Golden West College, and we're still here in the top of the 7th. 7-0.
What's interesting, Mark, is that at the Division 1, 2, and 3 levels, this season they've introduced a run rule. At the community college level, no such thing, as we've seen a 32-6 run game in the state of California over the last week and a half.
And this is where we'll always get in the argument. I mean, the run rule originally comes from the game of softball. One of the reasons they really enforced it was the year that Hawaii had, where they were just hitting home runs as quick as you could get a pineapple or a coconut off a tree. A home run was coming in for Hawaii. I've never been a fan of the run rule, even in the game of softball. I feel there are some teams that could be down by 9 runs, and next thing you know, they go crazy. But I understand the reasoning behind it. I just don't believe in it in a competitive game. Throw to second, not in time. I don't know what your feeling is. I know Corey Nalen has been on the end of some brutal games that says, hey, you don't want to embarrass the young people that are out there. But you know what? We've all played those games where we've gotten shellacked, and it happens.
Well, I remember a couple years ago, I want to say it was at the Easton tournament over at Cal State Fullerton. I think it was New Mexico playing Cal State Fullerton, and it was 17-0 after 3. And that was one of the games where I said, you know what, I'm happy that the run rule is there, because the game ended up finishing, I believe, 21-1. And at that point, it's not fun for the fans, it's not fun for anyone in the press box, and it's certainly not fun for either team competing in those games. I think that's where the run rule is fine. When you look at, you know, normal games like, you know, Golden West and Fullerton College, we've seen Fullerton College put up 8-run innings. So in this situation, I'm not necessarily a fan of it.
Run goes. So the runners go and steal a couple more bases. Ryan Osborne, I got to feel like somebody said, hey, we're listening to sports@usa.net, and Brian Osborne said, you know what you do is you confuse the defense by running, and then maybe you might want to run one more time. Strategy called earlier by my partner here on sports@usa.net, Ryan Osborne, the host of the Coaches Show.
Base running is one of the more overlooked aspects in the game of baseball. People just assume, and especially some of the athletes sometimes, just assume, well, I'm just going to run from point A to point B. there's a mentality to it. There's a way that you can shake up an opposing pitcher and opposing defense as well.
Big swing for a strike. 2-1, 2 outs, 6 big runs for Golden West College here in the top of the second. Joseph Pavlenko, Ryan Osborne bringing the action. That one on the inside of the corner. So the Hornets were in a game that this is what they were doing to an opponent and realized that the opponent came back to catch them. So over in the dugout, keep the heads up. They know they have an opportunity. We're only in the second inning right now. Slight little breeze, not much today. Pretty day out. Temperatures very, very gentle to those that are out there. Ryan and I were out there. I didn't feel like it was hot or anything else, Ryan. I think it's a great day to play the game.
I think it's as opposed to last week we were out here on Thursday where it felt like it was 95, no wind, and we just sat here in a sauna.
Yeah. Fouled off the left.
And this type of at-bat is exactly what got to Paschal in the first and second inning. Or excuse me, we're still here in the second inning. But it's what got to Paschal in that you foul off as many pitches as possible, force him to overthrow, and then get yourself on base.
Ryan Osborne with wishful thinking here on sports.usa.net. So ball 4, another runner. And now the bases are loaded for Golden West College, who are currently up 7-0 here in the second inning. So McGran comes up. His first time up in this inning. A nice little RBI single. Way to patch your stats is getting up a couple times per inning. Takes that pitch for a strike. So bases loaded. 6 runs in. The Hornets trying to find an answer on the mound. 3-9 overall. 1-8 in conference. 0-6 here at Hornets Field this year. Something going on down by the bullpen, so the umpire informs Golden West to not do that anymore. Fly ball, right field, tracking it down off the top of the glove of Matt Darr. I thought Darr was going to pull that in as he looked at it, and it went off the top of his glove. Ryan, you sort of dropped your head. I think you thought Darr had it yourself.
I think that Darr looked at that ball, and mentally you could see him say, Mark, I'm within range. I'm just going to reach up with one hand, and I should be able to catch it. That's the type of ball, especially with 2 outs on the board, you got to get back, get behind it, and catch it with 2 hands to secure that and get yourself into the dugout.
So 2 more runs come in. 7 runs. Now, in this inning, they've got
8
it
in
up.
this inning.
8 in this
So it's
inning.
9.
I can't read it out there if it's 9 or not. 8 runs in this inning. So what did you give on that?
Absolute E9.
You gave it an error?
Yes.
Okay, E9.
It would have been different if he had lost it in the sun, but Mark, you saw it. He tracked it all the way, reached out with one hand over his shoulder because he thought that he was well within reach.
9-0 here in the top of the second. Much of this going on with 2 outs in this inning. All the way to the backstop. Let's make it 10 on a wild pitch. So Parmenter squares and sacrifices in this inning, and you sort of think, okay, great play, get a couple runs. 9 runs later, he comes back up. Looking to get an RBI. Takes its first strike. 10-0 here in the top of the second. Here on sports.usa.net. Ryan, maybe we'll take a look at standings at the end of this inning. That one for a ball. So another run.
Center fielder number 4, Sebastian Orduño.
So Orduño comes up. Orduño comes up, you look at him today, got on with a walk to start things on, had a hit in this inning, got an RBI. Looks and drives it deep into the gap. It's going to drop in there. 1 run in. Let's see if they send the second one in. Here comes the second run for the plate. Here comes the throw, the tag. The ball is dropped. He's safe.
Mark, that's an excellent relay from center field, going from Rios over to second, James down to home.
Yeah, the ball was there. It was a great tag. I thought he was going to get him. Goes down. Umpire waited to see if the ball was controlled. It was not, and he calls the runner safe. So it's 12-0.
First baseman number 14, Logan Gallina.
So Gallina comes up. Got a hit in the first inning. Was one of the 2 outs in this inning. He ended up hitting a nice little fly ball to Dominic Martinez, who tracked it down. I'm going to be counting on Ryan Osborne to tell me all the changes that are going on in this game, maybe in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if you saw quite a bit of pinch hitting coming up.
Taken up there. Side saddle. Could this be it? It is the 3rd out of the inning, but not before. The Rustlers stole a few runs on that one. Got a few gifts handed to them. When you add it all up, it was 11 big runs. You take that one that they had in the first, that gives you 12. And you add the 8 hits on top of that, and it's now 12-0 in favor of the Rustlers here on sportsnetusa.net. You know, now you sit there and you see the umpires talking to Fullerton College, and you wonder if do you think there is a conversation about it? But let's find out first how the standings sit in the OEC.
The Orange Empire Conference, Santa Ana sitting at number 1 with a 6-0 record through 6 games played. In conference, they have scored 30 runs to 18. Orange Coast, Mark, they are putting up some incredible run numbers. 92 runs in conference in 9 games thus far. Now, granted, they've also given up quite a few runs, 54 to this point, but 92 runs that they have scored, and they are 8-1, sitting a game behind, actually about a game and a half behind Santa Ana. Cypress is at number 3 with a 5-1 record. Saddleback is at number 4, 4-2, and then the back half of the Orange Empire Conference are Irvine Valley, Fullerton, Riverside, and Golden West. And Fullerton 1-8 in conference, taking on this Golden West team at 0-9. When you look at both of these two teams, they are being outscored nearly 2-1 in conference play. And that's certainly changing here for Golden West, considering how quickly they've gotten up on Fullerton in the first couple innings.
Well, we'll see if they can hold on the lead as Landon comes up now. And now you might as well just have a little fun if you're the Hornets. Can't worry about what's gone down in front of you. You sit there and get up there and just say, you know what? Let's have some fun. Let's play loose ball, and maybe things will work in our direction, and when they do, we'll get back in the game.
You know what I would do right now, Mark? Left-handed batter leading off an inning. I'd poke a bunt right to the right side where the second baseman is sitting in the outfield grass.
Easy fly ball taken right out there by Sebastian Orduno. So you look at Hughes in left, Orduno
Number 49.
in center, Boyd in right, McGran at third, Cassis at short, Parmenter at second, Galena at first. That's the defense for Golden West. Tellez now comes up, playing first base today for the Hornets. Down in the dirt, nice block behind the plate. Fouled away, right up to us.
This season, Mark, every batter seems to love our spider camera behind home plate.
No matter where you guys put it, right?
Yeah.
They track it down and find it. Fly ball. Take a couple step backwards. Hughes pulls it in for the second out of the inning.
Shortstop, number 2, Jimmy Bloomberg.
So Bloomberg looking to get on base. Turner feeling good about all the offensive support he got. Jimmy squares. Takes that one for a ball. Takes that fastball outside. 2-0's the count. Two-no count. Fouled off, out of play down the right field line. Quiet around the baseball field. No fans allowed out. Still, because of the rules in the state of California, we might see those get lifted because of where LA County and Orange County are heading in the colored zones. Foul ball again. Orange County can get the yellow and then the green. You will have limited attendance to sporting events. which would be nice for the parents of all these players to come out and be able to watch the game. Curve ball down and away. It'll be fun for the players, too. There's nothing like getting yelled at when you're playing. Nobody knows your name when you're a player in the game of baseball. Even your mom and dad don't know your name in baseball. I've sat next to parents that have yelled out at their children, "Come on, 44, let's go." And you go, "Isn't that your son?" And they go, "Yeah." And his name is what? You know, at the game, it's 44. The way some of us might have played the game at this table, our parents never yelled our names out there. Our guys are looking at the scoreboard and foul ball. What are you getting?
Hey, Phil. It's 12, right? That's fair, yeah. Gotcha. Total score.
Curveball, strike 3 called.
Okay, gotcha.
No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. As we head to the top of 3, Golden West College is up by 2 touchdowns. They couldn't make the extra points, so the Hornets are still in striking distance. It's the Rustlers 12, the Hornets 0. Here on Sportsnet USA.net, Joseph Pavlenko, Ryan Osborne, Corey Nalen calling the action next week on Sportsnet USA.net. You know, when we talked about the coach over at Santa Ana being the all-time winningest coach, well, somebody who follows them closely is Jack Hodge, who was over at Saddleback College. Hodge retired in 2011 as the winningest coach in any sport in Saddleback College history. Jack spent 42 years as a teacher and coaching, and last 22 years at Saddleback. He finished with 580 wins, and his overall record as a baseball coach is 920 wins, 526 losses. His Gaucho team appeared in the playoffs 13 times, and 3 times Saddleback played in the state championship, winning the title in 2004. So those 2 gentlemen are both in the CCCAA Hall of Fame for community college baseball. Just some of the little notes that when you're sitting around talking to each other, you let people know who's there and who isn't. We'll see if we get some changes from Golden West College as Boyd is getting ready. Ooh. So we have Daniel Vega now in the game for the Hornets on the mound.
Leading off for the Rustlers, number 29, Cole Andavolgi.
So Andavolgi, the catcher for the Rustlers today. Coming up. Grounded out in a double play the first inning. Got on an error in the second inning. Lead things off here in the third inning here on Sportsnet USA.net.
Coach Baum asked if there's any way we can get the scoreboard right.
Yeah, it doesn't take in that many runs, so he was working on it.
Okay.
It doesn't take in 12 runs in an inning.
Oh yeah. I know.
So he said,
I'll tell him for sure.
to,
Yeah.
just tell me fix it.
Yeah, I got you.
So Andavolgi batting 188. This was one of those games you could pad those numbers.
He's thinking about how he wants to tell coach.
Nobody expected that many runs to be put up on the scoreboard. Either did the scoreboard. Must be a graduate of one of the local universities here. High and tight by Vega for ball 4. Brings up Boyd. So Boyd comes up. So Boyd, who's been prolific on the base, a couple stolen bases in this game already. Takes that one for a ball. We have the correct score on our scoreboard here on sportsnetusa.net because of Joseph Pavlenko.
You see, Mark, the scoreboard out in right field, the total score is
right.
Correct, but the inning score is incorrect.
So what you're telling me is that's a math problem from Cal State University Fullerton. The answer is 12, even though when you add up the numbers in the first 3 columns, it doesn't equal 12.
Look,
No
Mark,
wonder you guys had problems.
nobody asked me to show my work. All I had to do was get the right answer.
That's what he did. Walked out with a degree. Congratulations, Ryan Osborne.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are Ryan Osborne, aren't you? No. But it's okay. I'll take it. Conversation on the mound.
As we take a look at the updated scoreboard around the state of California, you know, earlier we were talking about Mount Sac and Orange Coast College being at 5-0 to Mount Sac. Well, Orange Coast has cut that deficit in half, 6-3, as Saddleback is now trailing Irvine Valley 2-0 in the bottom half of the 4th, and Santa Ana is now tied with Cypress at 2.
Boyd takes
All
that
of which
pitch in
the total scores are correct.
Boyd takes that pitch outside. You can always look for everything being right here on sportsnetusa.net. Boyd, left-hander, hands high. Ball comes back here. So it's going to be a wild pitch in the dirt. Skips to the catcher's right. Can't get his hands across in time, and the runners advance.
You know, Mark, I know it's not November, but I'm thankful for a lot of things. Netting is one of them.
Shortstop number 7, Stephen Cassis.
You'd be hurt right about now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. Just a little.
Cassis comes up now. Had 2 RBIs on a big double in the 2nd inning. Struck out in the 1st. He's 1 for 2 today, and we're going to get another pitcher. So we're going to have a pitching change for the Hornets as we stop the action here at the top of the 3rd. So what we did is we've given 2 runs. If you're looking at the scoreboard here at the stadium, when you see a camera shot up it, the 2 runs that are in the 3rd inning are mystical runs. They're like dragons. They're there, but they don't really exist. But they do overall when you're writing the complete story.
You remember those Choose Your Own Adventure books?
Yes.
Where you would take one decision or the other, you'd put your finger in the spot where you made that decision, you go, you read the end, but you still have your other option. That's kind of what it is like in the 3rd inning.
Okay.
You keep your finger on the 2nd inning where they scored 11. You look at the 3rd, you say, okay, well, there are 2 phantom runs over there. Well, if I really need to, I'll look at the scorebook where I've got my marker set and realize, oh, wait, it's still 11.
46, Michael Curatola.
So Curatola now in at pitcher. Well, I heard the announcer say his name was Curatola, but what I see on here,
It's Curatolo.
Curatolo. Okay. So we're seeing the staff from the Hornets today when we look at them come out here. So this could be a debut for the young man for the Hornets. And he hits the first batter he sees. So bases are loaded. For the Rustlers.
21, Jackson Lappiner.
So Lappinier comes up with bases loaded, nobody out. 12-0 here in the third. Down and away. Martinez in left. Rios in center. Dar in right. The challenge is to the outfielders if the ball's hit to them. Off the plate for a ball. If you see the ball hit up the middle, they should turn to. If it's hit to either corner, they should be going home and trying to turn to going home first. It's taken for a strike. Rios deep in center field. That's down in the dirt. Ryan, you get a tendency if you've had a ball hit over your head, like Rios and Dar have had, to back up a couple steps because you've already had the ball beat you to the ivy. And with bases loaded and no outs, you don't want that to happen again. Three-one count. 3-2. Golden West with a dirty dozen in the scorebook. Now let's make that a baker's dozen as the runner gets walked. So it's now a baker's dozen across the scoreboard for Golden West. 13. Hughes comes up. Should be a quick turn. 4-6. And couldn't get the turn at first base. But another run comes in.
Third baseman number 34, Gunnar McGrain.
You're watching these at-bats, Mark, by Golden West. They're essentially just going up there and saying, the bat's not going to leave my shoulder until I'm forced to.
Well, I tell you, for them, you're so relaxed now, Ryan. You're up by 14 that you don't pressure. I mean, and everybody's hitting. Or they're walking. They're getting on base somehow.
Mark, am I not mistaken in thinking that it should be 13-0? You yourself said a baker's dozen.
Well, they've got it as 14 up on the scoreboard.
And they have it 14 on the live stats.
Well, the Baker's dozen came from the walk.
That's right, and a run crosses
And a
here.
run crossed here on the base hit, so. So I've got it right. I've got it right. High off. Rios comes in, tries to get underneath it. He does. They tag up at the corner. Here comes the throw. The throw's off the plate. That's run number 15.
Nice job by Tellez going over there to cut it off. Because if that ball gets past him, that's down over to the backstop to our right.
Second baseman number 6, Zane Parmenter.
Talking to people behind me, talking about their math prowess behind me. University of Nevada, Chapman University, BYU.
One
They're all
person
still
who's
trying to
gonna go
figure out how many runs have happened between the three. Pitch is a strike. I blame the guy from the University of Nevada. BYU should be an educational institution, and as far as Chapman University, you only go there if you've got money. So, one lucky guy at the table. That's our SID. So 2 maybes and a lucky are in here. Oh, wait a minute. We've got Arizona now sitting down
Arizona
there.
State.
Huh?
Arizona State.
Arizona State? Oh, excuse me.
Still hot.
Ball fouled away. Cal State Fullerton to my right. Cal State Long Beach sitting here.
Does
Wow.
Liberty also count?
Huh?
Does Liberty also count?
Yeah, Liberty counts.
Okay. That's where I am now.
Mr. Nayland, who'll be the announcer Thursday from Cal State University Fullerton. Rashawn Haylock, who's been on the air for us. CSUN is what they call it now. It's no longer Cal State Northridge. It's CSUN.
That's the first statement that every one of their SIDs tells you. Anytime that you go up to them and ask them for any information, they say the first thing that we want from you is know that we are CSUN. We are not Northridge. We're not Cal State Northridge. And we are not to be just the Matadors. We are CSUN. And if you refer to us as the Matadors, it's the CSUN Matadors.
So another walk. Runners at first and second. 2 outs. So I'm thinking about, let's see, who else?
Yourself?
Well, that's Cal State University Long Beach. And about another 15 other schools thrown in. Taken up, knocked down at this corner. Throw over, not going to be in time. Beautiful play by Jimmy at shortstop. He goes down and gets it on his knee, gloves the ball.
Mark, you saw him take one step to his left because he was going to pinch up towards second. He has to reverse his momentum and get a hot jump on that ball towards left field. Acrobatic play by him.
Well, I mean, the thing that I liked about him, too, is at least that time he calmed himself before he threw the ball. Wasn't going to get the runner anyway, but he threw an accurate throw. Ryan Osborne's already, and I've had a dispute on when there was another play like that and he threw it a little wild, you gave the error to the first base person. I gave the error at short. Bases loaded, which has become a theme in this game for the Rustlers. Well, that should be appropriate. Ball is fouled. You're riding bunches if you're a Rustler. You're on a horse if you're a Rustler. It's sort of like a merry-go-round, hitting 1, 2, and 3. So there's a parallel to the team name and what's going on at the field. Rustlers up 15-0. We're in the top of the third. So if you tuned in late and you said, wait a minute, what is this, the ninth inning already? In some people's imaginations, it could be. My partner, Ryan Osborne, Joseph Pavlenko, Corey Nayland coming on the air Thursday here on sportsnetusa.net. Strike three. But not before a few more runs crawl onto the board. Well, for the Hornets, you're looking to try and find something to give you a little smile on your face. If you're Golden West College, you're happy as all get out. It's the Rustlers 15, the Hornets 0. Here on sportsnetusa.net. Hey, you know what? I talked about all the universities that are known in this booth right now, and yet many of us went to community college to get to that next level. So if you're that student that's sitting at home right now and thinking, I didn't do well in high school and no university really wants me, well, go to your community college, get those grades up, and then that dream is still there sitting for you, and you have that opportunity. Maybe you're that student that wants to be a mechanic. Maybe you want to work as a machinist. That's right. Vocational trades at the community college are plentiful. So you can come that way, and if you're an old geezer like me, well, old geezers get to go to community colleges. That's right, because we're just not looking to pay that $5,000 a unit. So we come to a community college because maybe we want to play in radio and television. Maybe we want to be an artist again. Hey, maybe some of us say, you know what, as a designer, I can basically design, build, and show a dress better than anybody else out there. Who knows what you may want to do? Community colleges offer it all. So the next time you're out trying to think about what you may want to do, look up your local community college, as we all have here on sportsnetusa.net. Carter Kay comes up here in the bottom of the third. Swings through the first one. Should see what the rankings are in the state of California for all the teams that are playing in the game of baseball. Kay takes it into the alley, so a big base hit for the Hornets.
Second baseman number 19, Brock Denbo.
Brock Denbo comes up. So we'll end up looking at the rankings. No rankings in this limited season?
No rankings because they're from 2019.
Okay, so seeing if they were up there. I didn't think I'd found any, but I thought maybe the two young men next to me can find something.
The best that the CCCAA has given us for this season is the 2019 final rankings, but no 2020 preseason or this year.
Ball in the dirt, blocked. No swing on that. 2 hits in the game for the Hornets. Turner deals, brings it home, breaks it off. That's been his money pitching this entire game. His breaking ball. So like Ryan Osborne has said, be patient. if you're a hitter for the Hornets. Fastball across the letters, called for a strike. Brock Denbo batting .200 this season. Takes that one high and tight for a ball. 3-2's the count. Three-two pitch. Comes on the inside, so back to back, the Hornets get runners on. Martinez, who had the only hit in this game, comes back up. Martinez batting .387, on base percentage of .424, and a slugging percentage coming into this game of .452. Takes that on the outside. Ron Osborne, being an athlete who's played a game, you've been in many contests where you've been beat up mentally and physically. How do you keep getting up there with that attitude to stay positive when you're in the position, especially the Hornets right now?
Well, honestly, Mark, I think these are the types of games that you look at and you say, you know what? Let me go up there with no pressure added to my at-bat. I'm going to go up there and say, you know, I can free swing as much as I want. I can wait for the pitch that I would like to have. And there's no real ramification, because if you end up, grounding into something, you end up striking out, well, we're down 15-0. You go up there and you do something with it, well, you were able to get yourself into a game and engage, or I should say re-engage, and get your team closer. There's really no type of pressure that comes with an at-bat in this situation. So you just calm yourself and tell yourself, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to learn at the plate.
So the Hornets get runners at second and third on a wild pitch. And Martinez swings through that breaking ball for the first out of this inning. Elias Rios comes up. Rios struck out his first time up. Hornets trying to find something productive. Rios exactly at 400 coming into today's game. Looking for that hit. Takes that pitch off the plate. We'll see if anybody else has scored any runs when we come to the bottom of this inning. See if there's any updates around California. Turner. That's going to be outside for a ball. 2-0's the count. Nice and relaxed dugout from Golden West College. They're up 15-0 in this game. Hornets looking to answer a little at a time. Drilled. And it takes the skip the Hornets need. Throw over to third base, and a big error made over there by McGran at third base. So a run comes in, and he doesn't stay down on the ball, Ryan. He lets the thought of a hop play him instead of him playing the ball. So at an error right there. Runners at the corner with one out. Little at a time if you're the Hornets. Don't get over anxious. Pick up a couple. Pick up a couple. We saw it happen with the Hornets in their last game. They were up by a bunch and got caught from behind, so it's not impossible. If you're a Hornet fan, stick with us. and see if this Hornet team can find a way to get back in this game. Turner, breaking ball, across the middle of the plate. A little more chatter from the Hornet dugout now that they've got that first run.
You see the contrast from Golden West to IVC that we had here last week. There was a lot of talk coming from the Golden West dugout last week, from the IVC dugout last week. That's the way that they engage themselves in their games, making sure that they talk as much as possible. And it's not just to the opposing team, but also it's to their own players, making sure that everyone knows where they need to be positionally. But Golden West, very different mindset.
Well, if you're Golden West, your season has been a struggle like the Hornets. And so you can relate to a team that's got struggles going on. I mean, it's like going to that dance. And when you're sitting over there by the snack table because nobody wants to dance with you, the guy sitting next to you isn't giving you a bad time because you're not on the floor. He's asking you if that's peanut butter and jelly that you're eating.
No, Mark. I clearly, like you and I saw, ordered the salmon. You know what I ended up with?
Pizza?
Cold pizza.
Cold pizza. A flare out to right field, taken there by Boyd, and that's going to end the inning. But not before the Hornets get on the board. 1 run on 1 hit, 1 big error by Golden West College as we head to the top of the 4th. It's the Rustlers 15, the Hornets 1 here on Sportsnet, USA.net.
And Mark, just a moment ago, you were talking about what's going on in the state of California. You can see it right there on your screen. Shabbat, San Francisco, they're going to have a game that is to be announced in terms of starting up in Northern California. Sequoias and Reedley, College of the Sequoias, doubling up on Reedley right now in the bottom half of the 5th. It's 6-3 there. Back here in Southern California, Saddleback and Irvine Valley College. Irvine Valley has extended their lead to 4-1 in the bottom half of the 5th in South County. Cypress and Santa Ana. Santa Ana initially led that 2-0. Cypress tied it at 2 in the bottom or make it the top of the 3rd. And then over the last 2 innings, Santa Ana has extended and taken the lead at 6-2. So they're up by 4. Mount Sac 10-5. 15 runs combined between Mount Sac and Orange Coast. Bottom half of the 4th. Orange Coast up at the plate, trailing by 5. And Citrus, LA Valley, we're going to get some scores later on. Normally with LA Valley, we end up getting the score after the game is all finished up in Northern California at 5 p.m. Taft and Fresno City as they get set for their matchup as well.
Hey, Ryan, can we look at maybe, before this day's out, all the conferences? I know a lot of the conferences aren't playing baseball, but there are a few conferences besides the OEC playing baseball. Maybe we can look in general standings as this game goes on today.
Batting for the Rustlers, number 29, Cole Andavolgi.
So Andavolgi coming up here in the 4th. Takes that first pitch. Grounded it into a double play in the 1st. Get on with an error in the 2nd. Walked in the 3rd. Skies it high. Then Bowundra takes it right there for a flyout. So it's 1 big. That's the way to start it off if you're the Hornets.
Right fielder, number 2, Julian Boyd.
1 at a time, taking your time doing it. That's what the Hornets are doing, getting fundamentally sound out there on the baseball field as Boyd comes up. Holds his hands high as a lefty, traditional stance for a left-hander, then drops them at the last second. Doesn't really have a hitch to his swing or anything else. Some people would tell you if you do that, you're going to be a little late on that fastball coming in. That first motion of dropping your hands is going to put you behind. Takes that pitch on the outside. 1-1's a count. Just remember, every style is an individual thing in baseball. What works for one may not work for anybody else. Does it mean it's right or wrong? No. If it works for you, it's right. Fouled off. A little late on the swing. Big digging feet are taken in territory as an out. What a play by Dominic Martinez, who refuses to give up out there. Oh, okay. I thought somebody was telling me there was a change mark and you didn't know it. Ryan, he refused to give up, running towards the out of play, and then dove at the last second. And that's what you love from a player, no matter where your team's at. Giving 100%. What an outstanding play in left field by Martinez. And if you're a Hornet fan, yes, that is the play of the game so far for these Fullerton College Hornets.
And you know what, Mark? That goes back to what you and I were talking about. How do you engage yourself back in a game like this? No pressure out in left field for Martinez. He knows that if he gets to it, he makes a play on it, he makes the catch, well, it's going to be a spectacular grab and an out. If he doesn't, it's a foul ball.
One of those plays that's a highlight reel for any defensive ball player. Pitch is down in the dirt. So you've got to look at it and go, standing play. Taken there for a strike. Is Matt Dorado in at catcher right now? Can't really tell. No?
You would be correct.
So, base hit on that. Ball's thrown away.
Matt Dorado has taken over behind home plate.
How about that? I love the first statement on that one, Ryan. You are correct. So Dorado now in at catcher for the Hornets. Right off the outside of the plate. So Dorado's in at catcher. We'll look around, see if there's any other changes coming in this game. Taking the other direction. Deep hit, back foot, nice play over at short. And so the defense shows itself for the Hornets in this inning. No runs, one hit, no errors, and one left on base. As we head to the bottom of the fourth, it's 15-1 in favor of Golden West College on SportsNetUSA.net. Other conference play that's going on so far in the state this year, Ryan Osborne.
Yeah, so far you look at the Inland Empire Athletic Conference. Mount San Jacinto is 6-1 in overall, but the thing is that there are only two colleges in that entire conference that are playing right now. Mount San Jacinto and Saracoso, 6-1 and 8-4 between both of those two teams. Nobody else. Barstow, Chaffee, College of the Desert, San Bernardino Valley, and Victor Valley, all of which not playing this spring. Then you look at the South Coast Conference. Mount Sac currently with a 6-6 record, and here's the other thing, Mark. They're the only team in that entire conference not in the Los Angeles County area. All teams in Los Angeles County are not playing this season, or at least to this point. So for Mount Sac, an overall 6-6 record, they're not in LA County, so they can play. And everyone else, Cerritos, Compton, East LA, El Camino, LA Harbor, Long Beach City, and Pasadena City, all of which in LA County, not able to play yet.
So is there some of the teams that are still playing? Ryan will let us know everybody who's playing this year. on sportsnetusa.net.
The entire Pacific Coast Conference, Mark. Nobody in play.
Landon comes up, flew out to right field. Strange baseball year, especially when you look at the conference play that Ryan's talking about right now. Some playing, some not. Some good, some not. Landon swings away at it. And when you look at that, Ryan, it's a little mind-boggling. I mean, it should be everybody plays or nobody plays. That's my personal feeling. Now, Corey Nailing, if he had his way, nobody'd be playing. Next pitch, off the plate.
Arcader?
Yes, yeah. I think his ovens were down today, so, you know. Or it's recess time. Flare, off the end of the bat. Cassis goes back. Flies out there a little further than we thought. Hughes comes up with it. Oops, wait a minute. That might be my caterer giving me a call now.
First baseman number 49, Julian Tellez.
So Madrid is now up at the plate for the Hornets. Anthony Madrid.
Tell us.
Oh, it is Tellus? Oh, they changed the number. I'm glad I've got young people around me to the left with working minds. Takes a high swing at it, and so Tellus gets taken out on a strikeout. So they switched his number.
Shortstop number 2, Jimmy Bloomberg.
So Bloomberg comes up, struck out his first time up. Jimmy made an excellent play over at short. Swings, talk about payback as McGran goes down, puts his hand up, finds the ball, and throws out Jimmy going down the line. Nice little play over there in that hot corner for Golden West College. 3 up, 3 downs, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. As we head for the top of 5, it's Golden West College 15, the Hornets 1. Here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Joseph Pavlenko, Ryan Osborne. Yeah, Mr. Pavlovich sitting here, not the one that's in the Hall of Fame, but that's okay. Here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Next Thursday, Corey Nailing calling the action. Not the one that the stadium's named after, but that's okay either. So when you look at it all together, baseball and softball on Sportsnet, USA.net. We were out there for softball once again. Tell you what, I hope they have a state championship this year. They probably won't, but if they did, I would put a lot of faith in this Fullerton College team winning the state championship in softball.
You know, I wouldn't disagree with you there, Mark, because we've seen them in years past, like that 2018 or 2019 season. Actually, 2018, you and I looked at them and we said, you know, maybe they might sneak into the playoffs. In 2019, we looked at it and said they're going to get into the playoffs. They might get to a super. This is a team that is simply dominant so far this year.
Yeah, you love their shortstop. Basically say D. Ramirez is the player in the OEC. Maybe in the state of California when you look at the way she plays.
The way that she's batted and especially the way that she plays defense, she certainly can be a contender for that.
You know, when you look at that, and then you have to love what they're doing in the circle, too.
Mm-hmm. they've got two very reliable pitchers that they can go with in Lopez and Peavy House.
You know, and then what about the love that they're getting from those two very outstanding coaches that are on the staff for Fullerton College?
Coach Speedy, Coach Crystal. One of the things that we love about coaches here at Fullerton College is when they make sure that we have everything we need to broadcast or do the coaches show, or if we just need access to maybe it's center field. They say, you know what, Mark? You know what, Ryan? You know what, Joseph? Here are the keys. Make sure that you have everything that you guys need all set up, whether it be an interview, whether it be, you know, just talking to coaches before games, or whether it be helping us set up things broadcast-wise. Coach Speedy, Coach Crystal, always very welcoming of all of us here at sportsnetusa.net. Not to mention, whenever they coach their players, you always look at their players and you say, okay, what's the best thing about playing underneath both of them? And they say it's the way that they allow us to go out there and make our own mistakes, which is something that's different. You don't necessarily hear that from athletes. And you ask them, well, what do you mean by that? And they say, well, they'll go out and say, you know what? Go and play your game, especially in the circle, like with Lopez we saw the other day. If you get into trouble, work your way out of it. We're not going to over-exaggerate if you make a mistake. Try and work your way out of it. Use the mentality that we've brought you, or excuse me, not mentality, but the preparation that we brought you in the circle before this game, and get yourself out of trouble. Learn to work out of whatever you've gotten yourself into. And for the athletes that have played underneath them, they say that is one of the best attributes that they have had in playing underneath Coach Speedy and Coach Crystal, is that both of those coaches say we're not going to over-exaggerate your errors. Just make sure you go out there and work out of it yourself.
And that just shows you that they are educators, not just coaches, and they are educators that truly care about their student athletes.
And you see a lot of the student athletes for both of them come back to help them out on a volunteer basis, assistant coaching basis. I mean, right now, their pitching coach is Bridget Ruiz, who was on that 2018 and 2019 season and had one of the better careers in Fullerton College history. And she came back and decided to help out the coaching staff and is now helping them pitching-wise.
Yeah, and that says a lot about the coaches themselves. So a little Fullerton College softball here on sportsnetusa.net. That one fouled off, and the reason I go to Ryan Osborne, he's out there for every game, but you've called some of the games too, baseball and softball, and Ryan just, you know, I think when you look at it, they're a fundamentally sound team, and this would have been a fun year if there was a state championship. Pitch off the plate. A little sand volleyball going on right now, too, for Fullerton College. I should call it beach volleyball, right? Not sand volleyball.
Fullerton has had some success over the last couple of weeks as well at the beach. You take a look at their Instagram page, and they're showing you a lot of what the team has been able to do against Golden West, against teams like Saddleback, Irvine Valley as well.
Another strikeout. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of followers who appreciate that beach volleyball team here at Fullerton College.
Second baseman number 6, Zane Carmenter.
So the Hornets looking to get out of this inning. Here in the top of the 5th, down by 14 runs right now. Next pitch just inside. Signals from the bench over at Fullerton calling the pitches. Down in the dirt.
As Joseph Pavlenko pointed out over to my right, Mount Sac 13-5 over Golden West right now in the bottom half of the 5th.
Now it's explain who?
Orange Coast College.
Oh, okay. Little easy hopper over to second, just in time. Speed down the line, bang, bang play, but the Hornets get out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base as we head to the bottom of the 5th. And no, it's not a joke. It's Golden West College 15, the Hornets 1. Here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Corey Nayland coming out Thursday to call in a little baseball on Sportsnet, USA.net. Speaking of Corey Nayland, don't forget to watch the show on Sportsnet, USA.net. We've had it replayed a couple times by other groups. The interview we had with Scott Giles, our athletic director out here. And, of course, when we talk about shows like that, there's nothing better than the Coaches Show on SportsNetUSA.net or 90.1 KBPK. I've got the host to my right, Ryan Osborne. We talked about an interview coming up, and I know you've got it scheduled with one of those two excellent softball coaches around the corner.
We do indeed, and that's the thing with the Coaches Show is we try to make sure that we don't just focus on one thing. You know, too many times you see a lot of people, as Joseph Pavlenko is over to my right, also helps us with the Coaches Show, one of the co-hosts as well, is that you see people focus too much on one sport. Oh, they say baseball's the spring sport. No, you've got softball here on campus. You've also got, as Mark mentioned, beach volleyball going on. You've got different sports training right now. And we try and give as much exposure to each and every sport as possible. And all of these coaches have always been very accepting and accommodating for us here at Fullerton College. Especially Coach Speedy and Crystal.
Well, you know what's nice about the Coaches Show too is some of the conversations that come out of nowhere that you've had. You know, you talk about Phil Austin, one of the football coaches. You've had some interesting interviews with line coaches over at Fullerton College through the years. Some that are interesting, some that are humorous. So you get all sorts of flavors in the Coaches Show.
Or sometimes special teams coaches.
Do you have a favorite interview you've done so far?
You know, I have to say in 2017, no, make it 2016, I got to talk to Coach Bill, or not Coach Bill, but Bill Chambers at the Key to the County game. And it was a 22-minute interview because he said, I've got plenty of time. 22-minute interview where he talked about joining Fullerton College, joining the staff, going with Hal Scherbeck to his first national championship, and what it felt like to be able to see each and every player that he see them move on, see them have success in life after Fullerton College, and then keep in touch with them afterwards. Just going through his entire time here at Fullerton College over 22 minutes was, I'd say, easily my favorite that I've had so far.
Yeah, a lot of fun interviews. So, you know, hey, go back and look at some of the past interviews. As Denbo pops it up, missed for an error. Dorado was up just before him. Grounded out to second. Yeah, you can go back and relive some of those interviews that you've had. I mean, you know, we can go back and, for me, some of the best ones are, you know, the one that I've always had with Hal Scherbeck at one of the alumni games and took up the entire half. And some of the things that Hal talked about, I still found out that they still won the national championship that one year. They were just wazooed by a bunch of officials. Hal told me off the record, and everybody who's seen the interview can substantiate what he told me off the record. So that was a really, really great interview. And then Corey Nayland's gotten me a lot of interviews over the years with Hall of Famers that have been a kick. People still keep looking at me and going, I loved your series on NBC. I loved when you played Hunter. And I have to keep telling them that wasn't me. So, hey, when you're 6'4", good looking, people confuse you.
Neither which are me. No, but Mark, one of my favorite moments on the Coaches Show wasn't even an interview. 2016, in December, you, Corey, and I were in the parking lot of Fullerton College getting ready to go to the national championship game. And we said, so what are we going to go over on the pregame? And it was, if I'm not mistaken, special teams and the offense. And we all said, okay. We went to Yorba Linda, set up the camera, press record, and 23 minutes later, we finished our opening without a single word of a pregame or planning things out. And you know what? I don't even think we talked about the offense in that.
Probably did. Yeah, we've had some great times here at Fullerton College. We've had some great coaches shows here at Fullerton College. And you know, when people look at Ryan Osborne and they talk about the coaches show, he covers every sport at this college. You did an interview for track and field. I know you've done that. Gina Bevick has been interviewed multiple times with her teams that she has coached.
The dance coaches as well. We've talked to them.
So, I mean, it's not just when you look at a show on sports. Off the top of the wall. It looked like it was going to go heading for third with a stand-up triple.
And, Mark, this is the same guy that we were talking about in Martinez, going out there and saying there's no pressure.
Team has got more fortitude, more positive attitude. What a great cheer for all these young men that are out there and hope that their futures, because they're out there a lot more than I am. What a great group of student athletes with educators here at Fullerton College. It starts at the top, works its way down to say, if you're looking for a community college, well, I'm a little prejudiced, but I'm going to say, look at Fullerton College. She loves Nick. Another fine community college in our area here on Sportsnet, USA.net. So Martinez is now on the mound. Joel Martinez, right-hander out of Gar High School. From Golden West College here, but I guess you want to get that victory at all costs.
You do, and especially with the way that Fullerton, I mean, just last week, Fullerton themselves saw a big lead end up going away. So if you're Golden West College, you want to assure yourself of a victory.
They're up by 14 here in the top of the sixth. Have not been informed of a time limit or anything else on this game, so we should go all 9.
There is no time limit on this game.
No
on
time limit.
Double headers, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes, and the first game will be 7 innings, but this not being a doubleheader, it is a full 9. You go until you can't see the ball anymore.
$15 to 1. Just off the corner, the Hornets thought they had that strikeout.
I'm good.
That one off the plate. 2-2. We heard earlier in the season that the Hornet baseball team is going to get Hornet gold uniforms down the road. Another walk by the pitching staff for the Hornets.
First baseman number 14, Logan Gallina.
5 walks given up in the game so far. Galena comes up now. Toe tapping left-hander. 15 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for the Rustlers. 1 run, 3 hits, 2 errors for the Hornets in the game so far. Just on the edge of the plate, called for a strike. Nice little pitch out there. Nibbling on the edge of the plate.
Painting the black, if you will.
0-2 outside. Martinez in left, Rios in center, Dar in right. Taking the other direction, just under the glove for a base hit. So, nice little diving play made right there. And so David Barrios now is over at third base.
Catcher number 29, Cole Andavolchi.
For the Hornets. So Barrios at third. Breaking pitch that didn't break, didn't come down, just stayed there. Joel Martinez, like we said, is on the mound now. Fouled off. Drops fair. Tellis tried to catch an over-the-shoulder catch with a nice little basket move. Unfortunately, had a little too much milk, too much cheese, and who knows what else in the basket. It falls by the wayside. Oh, wrong sort of basket? Oh, okay. Look the runner back. Brings it home. Driven to right field. Back towards the wall. Back getting a jump on it. Grabbed out of the air. And then. So I thought it was grabbed out of the air. It was not. And now we have an injury in right field. So I thought Matt had grabbed it. It just got over the top of his glove. He picks it up, and Matt did something to his ankle while he was out there. And give him credit. So he did catch the ball, like I call it. He reached up, caught it, came down on his ankle at an awkward position.
Mark, while we have a break here, around the state of California, College of the Sequoias 10-3 over Reedley. That was a 1-0 game going into the fourth, and now all of a sudden, now in the bottom of the sixth, it's 10-0 College of the Sequoias. Here in Southern California, Saddleback trailing Irvine Valley College 4-3 in the bottom of the eighth. That game is scooting along. Golden West College, as you see here, 15-1. And actually, Irvine Valley and Saddleback now in the top of the ninth. Top of the sixth, Cypress and Santa Ana. Santa Ana was tied with Cypress 2-2 just an inning and a half ago. Well, it's now 10-3 Santa Ana. 14-6 Mount Sac over Orange Coast in the top of the sixth there. So a lot of high-scoring games across the state of California today, Mark.
Yeah, and Ron, since we got a little time as we have a player coming off the field, I got to ask you again. It seems like all the baseball scores are, and we talked about this during softball too. Does it go back to COVID with everybody not practicing like they normally do?
I think it is. When you look at how quickly everybody had to stop, then you look at how quarantine kind of affected everybody, and all of a sudden you go from training and getting your arm loose, getting that muscle memory going, to everything stops. You're being told you have to stay inside. You're being told you can't go out to a park, go out to a place with your teammates and train and practice. Everything just had to come to a standstill, and then restarting that over the last couple of months. It's got to be difficult for the athletes, and yeah, I think, Mark, I think it does have an effect. As much as I didn't want to say so a couple weeks ago when you asked this to me, now I think you're really starting to see it in the state of California, where these games, yeah, the Orange Empire Conference always has really high-scoring games, but you're seeing it across the entire state, and it's a continual thread. It's no longer a couple of games here and there. It's now a continual thing.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because it didn't go away.
It didn't.
It's not just down here.
Yeah, and if it was just something where these guys are rusty, everything would kind of change around week 2, week 3, because you get back into the swing of things, and you get your timing down against live pitching as well. But it hasn't gone away. You're still seeing these really exaggerated games.
So Boyd gets hit by a pitch again. Started off the game by getting hit by a pitch. So they started off with a walk, a booming double by Galena. And then you watch Matt Darr make an outrageous play, and I called it out at first, and then I thought maybe not, on Endabolgi. But a run scored on that play. And now Boyd gets hit by a pitch. So we have runners at first and second with one out. 16-1. So a little check swing called for a strike. Next one, fouled away. You'll be seeing a couple new coaches show come in at 90.1 kbpk soon.
Don't forget to check our YouTube page, as we're going to have all of that coming up on 90.1 kbpk.
No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 run in. Dorado goes down and gets it and does what Ryan Osborne says, shift that body, score up the shoulders, and makes a textbook block of a pitch in the dirt.
Mark, he looked like Mike Richter there for a second, pushing off on that left foot to make sure that he got a good slide across.
Sets up on the inside. Ball goes the opposite direction for a base hit. They play station to station. So now there's runners on first, second, and third.
Designated hitter number 21, Jackson Lappner.
So you look at Lappner, when you look at him coming up there, had a hit in the second, walked in the third. Got out in the fourth. It's in the dirt, not far enough away for anybody to advance. Again, nice block by Dorado, going down on both knees to blocking it. (16-1), 16 runs, 12 hits. This fastball on the outside of the plate. 340 down the right field line, 334 down the left field line, 366 in the power alley in left field, 373 power alley in right field. Rolls over the hand, wait for the bounce. The bounce goes to first, so we're going to get another run in on a fielder's choice. And they finally hit my age, 17.
Now batting number 5.
That's in dog years. 17 in dog years. Okay. I'll be truthful. Man, this is a tough crowd, isn't it?
No, Mark, there is no crowd here at Fullerton College.
And I have a question for Ryan Osborne.
All right.
You know, I'll give it to you in between innings, as this base hit should score another one. And Ryan, I'm going to give you at least till the next out to get this. Who is the best Fullerton College baseball player since 2013? Give me your top 3.
Top 3, I think I already have them in my mind.
Okay, so we'll, at the end of this half of the inning, Ryan Osborne's going to give it to you. We get a pinch hitter coming up for Golden West College. Joe Yost coming up. Went to Huntington Beach High School. Freshman, 5'8", 160 pounds. Fouls it off.
You're seeing it correct, Mark.
I can't see our scoreboard.
Our scoreboard here on the screen also says 19-1.
19?
19.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Little check swing into no man's land. Scooped, picked, and play made. So Jimmy comes across and makes a great little play for that, but not before. Golden West College gets 3 more runs. 3 more runs. on 2 more hits, 3 more hits, 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and a couple left on base. As we head to the bottom of 6, it's 19 for Golden West College, 1 for Fullerton on sportsnetusa.net. Ryan Osborne, I asked you a question. 2013, the top 3 Fullerton College baseball players since 2013.
If we're going since 2013, Dylan Prohorov, Austin O'Banion, Shane Carrier.
And reason why?
Dylan Prohorov was one of the most, well, I'll say this. He is the most dominant pitcher that the Hornets have seen since that time period. Shane Carrier set home run records here at Fullerton College and also was top 5 in RBIs historically for a single season. He was drafted from Fullerton College, committed to Cal State Fullerton, but drafted by the Minnesota Twins out of Fullerton College, decided to go to the Twins minor league system, which he's still in. Austin O'Banion was right behind him in home runs and RBIs as well. Both of those 2 guys played in the same season. Dylan Prohorov was a step ahead of them, or at least a season ahead of them. And when he finished, he had a sub 1.5 ERA, if I remember correctly, in that second year here for Fullerton College. And every time that he pitched, Fullerton College was almost guaranteed a victory or at least 7 innings out of him. And you talk about bulldog mentality, Mark. That was a guy in Prohorov. You send him onto the mound, and he was just going to attack opposing batters. Ended up getting drafted after he transferred, too.
Little flick over to first base.
If I'm not mistaken, he's in the Phillies system right now.
To get Jack Jane, who was pinch hitting.
Third baseman number 15, David Barrios.
So Barrios comes up now playing third base for the Hornets.
You guys just noticed 25 on first base. That's new, right?
And we have Gutierrez catching for Golden West College. And Lamar's over at first base now for Golden West College. Christian Lamar in at first. Luis Gutierrez in at catcher for Golden West College. Turner Cruzen still on the mound. And that could be Miles Jenkins now over at second. I believe it is. That's Miles Jenkins at second for Golden West College. So Miles Jenkins is now in. So a couple defensive moves by Golden West College. Miles Jenkins at second. Christian Lamar at first. Luis Gutierrez behind the plate. Those are 3 moves that we know for Golden West College. Malerba now up at the plate for the Hornets. High pop fly. Taken right there out of the air. As Jenkins said, no, you can have it. I want nothing to do with anything. Hit that high. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We are through 6. It's Golden West College 19, the Hornets 1 on sportsnetusa.net. Did I let you give answers to why all 3 were the best, or did you?
Yes, you did indeed.
Okay, all right.
Prohorov, the best or most dominant pitcher that they've seen in a while. Shane Carrier, one of the best hitters, especially power hitters in Fullerton College history. And Austin O'Banion had one of the best average and RBI seasons in Fullerton College history.
So David Shlomovitz now in pitching for the Hornets, left-hander.
And you know what, Mark? I don't mean to be a proponent of making sure that you're correct, but this is the type of situation in the state of California where you say, Mr. Pavlovich is right. There really shouldn't be a run rule in the game of baseball. Why, you ask? Because Cypress was trailing 11-3 just a half inning ago. They closed it to 1.
Yeah, and let's go back. I mean, and I wish Corey Nealon was here. I think Corey is an advocate for the run rule. I know Scott Beck was not an advocate for the run rule. Ed Ford is an advocate for the run rule. Eric Pesolano doesn't believe there should be a run rule in any sport. But teams can come out of nowhere, Ryan. And even though the Hornets are down by 18, there's 3 innings to go. And for any of us that have heard Mr. Nalen and myself do Fullerton College football on sportsnetusa.net, I used to be teased for always seeing the glass half full. I had my partner take off a pair of headsets once, thinking that a playoff game was over. Nice little dribbler over at second, thrown over to first in time. When Mr. Nalen thought the game was over, he took his headsets off. They should have taken a kneel down, and the game would have been over. The quarterback fumbles the snap. The Hornets recover. They score, and we go into overtime. So there's always those opportunities. Time up in Bakersfield, that has been one of my better calls. We came from behind to win that game, and anybody who goes to Bakersfield, you hope for a victory when you go up there.
Rashawn Haylock and I had something similar like that. Golden West at Southwestern 2 years ago. Southwestern takes the first knee, goes to take the second knee. They fumble it. And one play later, Golden West is in the end zone after getting the football at the 35-yard line.
Yeah. So I mean, it's especially a game like baseball, which is methodical. Anything can happen. Deep into the hole, picked up, throw over to first in time on a great play and a nice little arm out there. And you've got to like the throw by Jimmy as he goes deep into the hole and flings it over. He just showed us range today. He has showed us the ability to fling the ball when he's had to. A solid shortstop. Christian Lamar now, who's playing first base for Golden West College, is up. Came in for Logan Galena. I guess I was wrong in the run rule when it comes to Mr. Nalen. But I'll stand by it. I mean, there's certain sports that you do certain things with. Taken back up the middle. And so Christian Lamar puts all of the bat on that, gets a base hit. And I thought it was on the run rule. No, it was on something else. Fouled over the top of us. And there's some games you don't mess with. I know we don't have run rules in high school football, but they will not stop the clock. They'll have a running clock to shorten games up out there. I know in some high school basketball leagues, they have running clocks. Even when a timeout is called, if a team's up by so much, they will just basically say to the coach, yeah, you can take your team to the sideline, but we're going to run the clock. Dead center field, just hung underneath it just enough. So if you're the Hornets, Martinez goes out there and does his job, gets the outs he needs to. Doesn't allow Golden West to do what they've been doing all day long, putting runs up on the board. We head to bottom of 7. It's the Rustlers. 19. Fullerton College 1. Don't forget Rashawn Haylock's going to be on the air a little more often here on SportsNetUSA.net. Corey Nealon this coming Thursday on SportsNetUSA.net. And you can realize when you're sitting around the house, you need to clean, and you just say, I've had enough of sports. I can't take it any longer. I'm just going to sit at my computer and do some work, or maybe just play and peruse online. Well, hey, go to 90.1 KBPK. The best variety, the best music on 90.1 KBPK. You know what? I thought a graphic would pop up with me doing that. What is wrong with the man to your right? He should have been prepared.
He has been preparing everything graphics-wise as much as possible with the scoring in this game and making sure that the score bug is completely correct the entire time.
Well, he just realized he needs to have another graphic up when Mr. Pavlovich is on the air. All graphics, all the time at 90.1 KVPK.
Found our new tagline.
There you go.
All graphics, all the time.
So, pitching change for Golden West College. Dante.
3. 2. As Taiga Yamane comes in to throw.
Taiga Yamani. We'll let the hockey announcer call it. So Taiga now on the mound for Golden West College.
Now batting for the Hornets, number 49, Julian Tellez.
So Turner, who only gave up 1 run, 3 hits in his 6 full innings that he pitched, will walk away with this victory if Golden West College can hold on. Gutierrez has that one come up and grab him. little conversation. I always like that with umpires. Either a catcher will do it for an umpire, or an umpire will do it with a catcher. When one of them gets hurt, there's chuckles. What is wrong with you? I'm in pain. Why are you laughing at me? You know? The pain monster over to our right is giving advice on pain.
You know what, Mark? I'll say he's not even wrong. Me on the ice, someone else gets hurt or I get hurt, you look up at the other person, you laugh. You bond over it.
Stellis walks.
Pain is temporary. A shared bond is forever, Mark.
Number 2, Jimmy Bloomberg.
Is that the new phrase for 90.1 KBPK? So we're going to get a change behind the plate because I don't think there's a bonding moment going on here.
That first fastball that Yamane ended up tossing bounced, hit the dirt, and hit him directly in the mask.
And for those Star Wars people that are out there, like the gentleman to my far right, Joseph Pavlenko just passed it on to our counterpart as we get a pinch runner for Fullerton College too over at first base. So running at first base right now for the Hornets, Sawyer Chesley is over at first base as a runner. So Chesley now over at first. And to our other geek, crazed Star Wars person from Joe to Corey, may the 4th be with you. Just to let you know. Corey's probably watching the game and working away with his baby Yoda sitting on his lap.
Around the state of California, Irvine Valley and Saddleback, that has gone final. Saddleback trailed the entire game until the 9th inning. They get 2 on the board, and they win it 5-4. Bottom 7, Sequoias and Reedley. It is Sequoias 11, Reedley 3. Mount Sac still doubling up on Orange Coast, 14-7, as Orange Coast tries to pull it closer in the bottom of the 7th there. And Santa Ana and Cypress staying pat at 11-9. Santa Ana with a 2-run lead in the top of the 7th.
So Morgan Simic is now in the game behind the plate for Golden West College. That on the corner for a strike. Runner at first for the Hornets. No outs. Bottom of 7. Trailing by a few. Fouled away. Hit to the hole. Back pedal over to second for 1. Back to first. Double play on a Beautiful play by Golden West College.
And you love the turn by Jenkins over at second base. He gets up to the second base bag, plants his left foot, and is able to throw across his body and get it there in time.
So Dorado turns on it. That's twice he's hit the ball hard. Gets a base hit on this one.
Second baseman number 1, Ryan Lamastra.
So Lamastra now comes up. Fourth hit of the game for the Hornets. 19-1. Started off big and quick for Golden West College. Well, Mastra gets hit. So 2-1 for the Hornets with a couple outs.
Left fielder number 20, Dominic Martinez.
Martinez hit a triple that hit, I said, about the 385 mark at the top of the wall. His last time up. He'd take one right now. Tops it. Could be that rolling bunt for a base hit. It does not. So no runs on one hit. 2 left on base as we head for the top of 8. It's Golden West College 19. The Hornets 1 here on Sportsnet USA.net. Joseph Pavlenko, Ryan Osborne. I'm the old guy just riding along. Corey Nalen, the next old guy. We'll be here next Thursday on SportsNetUSA.net. We want to thank Ed Ford for making all these games possible on SportsNetUSA.net as we have a new pitcher, Adam Armstrong, in the game for the Hornets. So Armstrong now on the mound. So Drake is now in center for the Hornets. I want to thank the young men for making it possible. I always have the pleasure of sitting next to a lot of fun young players as they listen to some of my bizarre statements and at least laugh at them. Bryce Barnett's nice enough to at least give me a smile every once in a while. He keeps thinking, wait a minute, this guy's about the age of my grandfather, because he used to have these lapses too. Wasn't sure what he was watching. And is that Elliot Gallegos right there? What number are you? Who? And you are? Okay, Anthony Madrid. Wait a minute, didn't I have him playing? Weren't you on the field? What's going on here? You're 0 for 5 in this game. Why are you sitting next to me?
That was a different Anthony.
Oh, okay.
That was Teller.
No, I know that. I know that. Okay. I was going to say, I already mentioned you once, so, you weren't out there, but I mentioned you. See? I know what I'm doing. I'm covering my bases here, guys. Even people that aren't playing, I'm getting their families to like me because they go, he mentioned my son. I'm not sure. He didn't even go to school today. But he's playing. He's playing. If he could just get his GPA up. If it goes off into the classes, he does these games. I don't know what's going on. I know I'm never going to be invited back, am I? I know. Where's Scott Giles when I need him so he can say the man, the myth, and the legend? I need him. Where is he?
It's okay, Mark. Just say Lou Pavlovich said it.
Lou Pavlovich. Beats it out. I called that before the umpire. It's like the Bakersfield game. Touchdown from 30 yards out. So Evan Manzo now over at first base for Golden West College. Over to second, throws him on a great stop, Ryan, and then you pull the runner in a tough play because you go down, dig it out, you come up trying to make the play and just throw it off just a little. As David Barrios goes down and makes a beautiful stop over at third base, at his knees, tries to get up and right himself, and just throws it to the right.
That's the thing when you throw from your knees, Mark, you don't have that front leg to plant and direction you towards where you're throwing to. So if you're on your knees, it's all arm, and what your arm has a tendency to do is drop down and tail away from where you're throwing. So since he's a right-handed tosser from third base, he's going to throw it over to second without that lead foot to plant. It tails out towards right field, and that's what takes the master off.
So the theme of today has been runners in scoring position for Golden West College. Sergio Alfaro is now on the plate. Sergio. Swings through that one. Adam Armstrong from Glendora High School, freshman on the mound. Straight back, fouled off. Master at second base, cheating a little towards center field. In the dirt, nice block there by Dorado. So Barrios is over at third. Lamastra in at second. Sawyer Chesley's over at first. A little high on that one. Adam Armstrong on the mound. Jack Jane in right field for the Hornets. Three-two. Taken to right field. It's fair. One run's in. So we're now at 20.
Left fielder number 5, Mylan Jones.
So now Jones comes in the game. So Mylan Jones playing left field. Fouls it off. And there was a time, Ryan Osborne, when he'd come out to do Fullerton College game in the old days when Nick Fuscardo, Corey Nalen would come out here to announce a game. They used to average about 3.5, 4 hours, 4.5 hours, maybe going into 5 in the old days. We never once mentioned, gee, this is a fast-moving game. Into the gap. Throw over to third. Take in there. The run's going to score. On a sacrifice fly.
237. I'm fairly certain that's going to change after today.
Yeah, it's gonna be like it's gonna skyrocket.
21 runs.
Baseman number 0,
Team
The
batting
game
average.
is now legal.
Team batting average for Golden West entering today, Mark, 237.
Team batting average in today's game,
Yes.
982.
I'll just go with yes.
But you have days like this. This is what makes the game of baseball so much fun. You'll have days like this. You will see teams just come out of the cocoon and all of a sudden start hitting everything thrown in the direction. And then there's other times you could have a pitcher on the mound who's got an ERA of 17, and everybody goes, oh, is this going to be an ugly game? And at the end of 11, it's still 0-0. So that's what makes this game so much fun, so exciting to watch play. It can always become the argument, which is the most ultimate team game? Football, baseball, basketball, ice hockey, when you think about it. You know, and I'm sure a lot of Dodger fans would say, well, you know, we've had pitchers on our staff that it's really all about the one pitcher. You can go all the way back to Sandy Koufax in the old days and think about him and Drysdale being the dominants, or the Milwaukee Braves with Johnny Sane and Warren Spahn.
Or you look at that 2001 Diamondbacks team, Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson, or the 1991 through 1999 Braves, where they had Maddox, they had Glavine, and Schmaltz as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are the things of the game of baseball. Fouled away. If you're out tomorrow, remember, be safe. Tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. So be careful on the road tomorrow. Put a little heat on it.
second baseman number 8, Miles Jenkins.
So Jenkins, who came into the game, is now playing second base for Golden West College. Comes in here, his first time at bat here in the 8th inning. (21, 16, and 1 for Golden West. 1, 4, and 2 for the Hornets. Those are your lottery numbers for this coming week.
Oh, I thought you were asking me to add.
Oh, we know that doesn't work. Nice little dying quail in the center field, and Jenkins thought he had a hit and realized he didn't. So we go to the bottom of the eighth. It's the Rustlers 21, the Hornets 1. Here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Remember, Thursday, another exciting community college baseball game with your Fullerton College Hornets. Corey Nayland's going to be calling the action. In between, though, we'll check out the Coach's Show. You can find those, go online, find those with Ryan Osborne. You can go back years, not just a couple seasons, years with Ryan Osborne on SportsNetUSA.net. If that doesn't fill it, well, hey, go to SportsNetUSA.net and watch the show. Corey Nayland is on there. Maybe that'll fill it. Or maybe you're just saying, you know what? A little music. And when we talk about the Coach's Show, the man all the way down to the right, the inflictor of pain, Joseph Pavlenko, has been on the Coach's Show with us more than once. If that doesn't fill your need, then go to 90.1 KBPK. The best variety, the best music, all day long on 90.1 KBPK. Well, somebody is saying you can watch episode 4 right now. I'm going to say, is that the show? My fan who's texting us saying that's the show, or is that the Coach's Show? Or just pick either one and take them.
I think he's saying this is episode 4 of the month of May.
Oh, okay.
Episode 4 of a certain movie is what I think he's saying that he's watching.
Ah, there you go.
What would we get down there? Jenkins goes up, grabs it, flings it high, and just is not quick enough to get rid of the baseball on a base hit by Dean Drake,
See,
who's now playing center field for the Hornets.
This is why we have Joseph as our technical guy here today. He was explaining to us as to what episode 4 meant. The movie series that we were talking about earlier that our caterer really loves.
Not the one that I wouldn't watch.
That's correct.
Oh,
He's
okay.
currently watching episode 4 of that,
Wow.
otherwise known as the second best movie in that series.
That's something you three can argue about. Jack swings through that one. Jack Janes now up. Takes that for a strike. Didn't like it. Looked like it was in on his knees and off the plate. Doesn't get the call. The luxury of a look. 1-2 count. Takes it the other direction, fouls it off. 1-2, it stays that way. So some people are enjoying a methodical, repetitious movie series. Other people will be enjoying tomorrow Cinco de Mayo. And then on Thursday, it's a little more Fullerton College baseball on SportsNetUSA.net. Pick your poison. Either today, tomorrow, or Thursday.
Now he's watching episode 5, otherwise known as the best movie in that series.
Jane pops it out in the right, taken there.
baseman, number 15, David Barrios.
Barrios now comes up. Made a nice play over at third base earlier in this game today when he went in for McClure. Laid out, knocked one down, threw over to second, just pulled the defensive player off a little. But a spectacular physical example of the game of baseball.
That's going to be 1 ball and 1 strike on the board, or it should be, because he violated the 20-second rule in between pitches.
Yeah, they did miss that. So the count should be 2-1. Heads up observation by Ryan Osborne.
It's one thing that they've really started to crack down on over the last couple years.
Well, they've tried to do that in a lot of sports to make it a little quicker for the fan enjoyment of the game. Behind the runner. Beautiful piece of hitting that you've got to love right there, where you don't try to do too much with it, and David just hits it where there's no one behind the runner to advance the runner, worst case scenario.
It's also heads up running because he was able to jump over top of that ball. We saw it, I believe it was last week on Tuesday, where a runner ended up getting hit to end a ball game.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Malebra comes up now. Runners at first and second. Hornets trying to make something out of the end of this game. Looking to pick up a run. Crawl back into it slowly.
My foot got stuck in the chair.
I thought your leg had fallen asleep. 21 runs, 16 hits, 1 error for Golden West College. 1 run, 5 hits, 2 errors for your Fullerton College Hornets. Sun is coming down. The shadows are creeping in. Driven right there. Little bobble. They're going to send a runner home after a bobble in the outfield, and the Hornets are back on the board.
And you enjoyed the aggressive base running there for Fullerton College because, you know, down by 20, you could just sit back and say, oh, we'll just move it station to station and keep the inning going. Instead, no, they go after the run, see the bobble, and take advantage of it.
And again, it's the positivity that you come here to watch these young men play the game. There's no give up in this Fullerton College team. Great deal of enthusiasm and attitude that walks from top to bottom. So your Chesley comes up. Ball's outside. Nice little letter high strike.
Mark, look at the rotation of the ball out of his hand. You're seeing a lot of late action on it, especially if it's a fastball, and you can almost hear those seams spinning back and forth.
1-2, 1 out, 1 run in. Taken down the right field line, fair ball. So 2 more runs in. And the comeback continues. So it's 21-4. If you believe they're sneaking back in there, you hold on tight. If you're Golden West right now, you don't want to say to yourself, if you're sitting at home or you turn this off, and then have somebody call you up and go, Fullerton's on the move. You don't want to come back when it's 21-17. That's episode 6.
Known as the 3rd best movie in that series. I could have sworn that episode 6, Mark, was all graphics all the time.
90.1 KBPK.
Indeed.
Down in the dirt. And if you're Golden West College catchers right now, you just go, please, please. It's like being that possum in Tennessee. Please. The upside here is there's no lights. So when it's 9:30 tonight, down the, just missed foul.
And Mark, there have been 2 different games that started at the same time as this one that have been over for about 45 minutes to an hour.
And I'll let you, at the end of this inning, we'll take
update you
a
on
hard
the
look
score.
and see who's come out a victor today and who just came up a little bit short that wasn't on SportsNetUSA.net. Off the fist. Looks for that space to drop in. It does. Oh, for a second, I thought it was going to. What a great catch by Stephen Cassis, who just ranges out to short center field to make that over-the-shoulder catch.
Catcher number 6, Matt Dorado.
And for Cassis, that was kind of like a football wide receiver going back, having it over his shoulder. He grabs it with 2 hands, a basket catch, and he was able to secure it.
Yeah, and the thing that was nice watching him too run, he looked it all the way in. Found the ball, kept his eyes on it as he kept running away from the fly itself. Ball's in the dirt. Matt Dorado comes up. Matt grounded into a double play. Lose shortstop. Ball gets away. Break for home. And the Hornets get another run on. Decisive break from third. We saw a couple games ago where the Hornets could have won a game where it was indecision. Even though you're down by this, you like the fact that somebody decides, if I'm going to go, I'm going to go, and that's exactly what he did.
And he didn't even wait to see how far that ball had gotten away. You look at Chesley, as soon as that ball was behind the catcher, he was taken off no matter what. Fully committed to taking home plate.
(21-5). 4 runs here in the bottom of the 8th. Sun in the eyes, travels a lot better, taken right there for the third out of the inning. But not before the Hornets stage a good attempt to get back in the game with 4 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. As we head to number 9. Or I am 9. Or it could be 9-9. Well, whatever way you want to look at it, we're at the top of the 9th inning, and it's Golden West College 21, the Hornets 5, here on Sportsnet USA.net. For Joseph Pavlenko, Ryan Osborne, I'm Mark Pavlovich. Corey Nayland comes back at you after he gets with episode 17. He'll be here on Thursday for another game on Sportsnet USA.net. Softball far around the corner. Not too far around the corner. Make sure you watch for all the games posted on sportsnetusa.net. As we get a new pitcher on the mound for the Hornets.
Adam Barisic. Well, we have a moment. We take a look at the scores around the state of California. Sequoias 12-8. They lead it over Reedley. Again, that was a 10-3 score a few minutes ago. Saddleback with a come-from-behind victory over IVC. Down at OC Great Park, 5-4 with the win. Mount Sax 16-7 over Orange Coast, so they've tacked on a couple more runs in the top half of the 9th, and they lead it by 9. And Cypress and Santa Ana, it is Santa Ana 11 and Cypress 9. 2-run difference there in the bottom half of the 8th.
So Michael Medinas is now over at first base for the Hornets. Sawyer Chesley goes over to third for Fullerton College.
Now batting for the Rustlers, number 42, Ulysses Perez.
Ulysses Perez now up. Normally plays center field for Golden West College when he has an opportunity. And then David Barrios has moved over to short.
Also went and got a different glove. Looks like he may have had a hole in the last one. Because quite literally, Mark, he took a look at the glove, looked at one of the flaps or one of the straps in the middle, came apart, and so he tossed it over to the first baseline.
And so Perez gets a base hit.
First baseman, number 25, Christian Lamar.
So Lamar now comes up for Golden West College. Drives it into the alley. Taken down there. Thrown in behind the cutoff man. A lot of stick. Not enough to get anything in.
Catcher, number 33, Morgan Simmons.
So Simic now comes in. Breaking ball. The break's a little too short. Bounces away, moves the runner to second base. So runner in scoring position. So the only inning that Golden West College didn't get a hit was in the 5th in this game today. Every other inning they've had a minimum of 1 hit against the Hornets. Gong is sounding. I heard that. If I see a man in a black cloak walk up, I'm going the opposite directions. As the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. And right on cue, Simic strikes out.
Right fielder number 17, Evan Monzo.
You think it's someone in a cloak, Mark. Instead, it's just Corey after watching episodes 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Monzo comes up, swings through the first one. So you look at Evan Monzo from Modern Day High School. Perennial champion in CIF. Flares that one off. Fouled away.
That one went right off the mask of Dorado behind home plate.
Yeah, but if it catches your right, it reflects. It's got this thing where it goes. It's not like where you get punched directly. You get that little ricochet off the front of the mask, you're okay. It's those direct hits that really get you.
A good deflection.
I had somebody tell me once who caught, the biggest thing is that first shock when you catch it in the face as a catcher. He said, I can remember, he said, when it really came off the bat. He said, the first time I caught one right in the mask, he said, you literally feel like somebody is just taking the bat and whacking you across the front of the face. I looked at him and said, thank you. I'm glad I played third base. No thanks. A little more motion. Couldn't get the ball to break the way he wanted it to. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 9th inning. Golden West College clean onto the lead. Off the end of the bat. Two outs. Fouled away again. Golden West trying to find run number 22 in this game. Hit number 18. Ryan Osborne's already brought up the fact that 18 hits will take some of the players' numbers and put them up to where they think they should have been all season long. Nice little hop over to first in time. So we head to bottom of 9. It's Golden West 21, Hornets 5 here on Sportsnet, USA.net. Ryan Osborne, you looked at this game again, and it's been a story of the season. So I'm going to put you in a real unlikable position. Tell me the bright spots for this Fullerton College baseball team.
I think the number one bright spot is that when they get on base and they run, they are a very, very, very different ball club. I think that they have the ability to run with purpose. I think that they have one of the best, I'll say, aggressive base runners in Southern California when they have the opportunity and they go. I'll say that the outfielding for Fullerton, especially in left field, has been very good. Obviously today we have an error in right, but from center and left, no matter who they put, whether it be Rios, whether it be Landon, Dominic Martinez, or Haku, their fielding has been very good so far this year.
So there are bright spots for this Fullerton College baseball team.
There are.
Okay.
And they're definitely building areas that they can work off of and look to continue to improve on.
All right, let's find out if semantically I have a bright spot here. We'll find out in a second. Anthony Chiramonte. He shoots, he scores. Old guy, yeah, right.
Mount Sac finishing
Dementia.
off Orange Coast 16-7. 16 runs, 21 hits, 4 errors for Mount Sac. 7 runs, 12 hits, 2 errors for Orange Coast. A lot of errors in the state of California today.
Do you know something? I think I am a purpose to make these guys work out harder in practice. They sit next to me for 9 innings. They're going to go back to their manager and go, please, coach, I'll work harder. Just put me on the field. Don't make me sit next to the old guy in the broadcast booth. I'll do anything. I'll be the bat boy. Keep me away from the old guy. It drives me crazy. I'm an inspiration to not get old. I'm the poster boy. Am I glad I didn't have headsets on? Chatter from the side of the booth. You know, there is a Pavlovich in the Hall of Fame. Hi, my name's Lou. Nice to meet you. I just go by Mark to fool people. And of course, you know, I tease. I do talk about Hall of Fames, baseball people that are in the Hall of Fame here at Fullerton. Of course, the immortal Mike Scoba, the manager for this Fullerton College team from 1961 to 1985. Steve Traxel pitched here, 1988 to 1990. Tommy Lasorda as an honorary member in the Hall of Fame here at Fullerton College for baseball. And Ron Johnson, who just recently passed away. And you know who else is? If I could take my mask off right now, I could just stare at you and you would know who I'm talking about if I said, who else is in the Hall of Fame on this base hit? Right back up the middle. And the young man that you keep talking about, the runner on this team, keeps getting on base.
Martinez has had a really nice game this afternoon.
He's had an excellent game this afternoon. But the guy, if they saw me, I'll take my mask off, the people from the old would say, oh, that's right, I know who you're talking about. Al Habrowski is in the Hall of Fame here at Fullerton, the mad Hungarian who, his mustache was good. Not as nice as mine, but it was good.
Now batting for the Hornets, number 9, Andrew Sanchez.
Mad Hungarian, crazy Serbian, put them together. You got the ideal baseball athlete.
And some of the most interesting chirps you'll ever hear.
So let's talk before we let him get off. The young man at first base, I see so much of a baseball player with him, Ryan. And I know you know what I'm talking about. He's got speed. He's got agility. He's got soft hands handling the ball with his glove. And he's got a good arm. I mean, what else can you add about this player?
And he's got power. He displayed it earlier. You mentioned the speed as well. As soon as that ball was launched out towards right, too often you'll see guys go into a trot.
Over to short. Stepped on the bag, over to first. And that's going to end it right there. So Golden West with 21 hits, 21 runs, 17 hits and 1 error. And the Hornets, 5 runs, 9 hits and 2 errors. Golden West, the Rustlers, devour the Hornets as the Golden West Rustlers win this game. Don't forget, next Thursday, another game here on SportsNetUSA.net. For Joseph Pavlenko, Ryan Osborne, Corey Nalen watching episode 6, and me, the old guy, Mark Pavlovich, we want to thank you all for watching exciting community college baseball on SportsNetUSA.net.